Okay, so the first thing I want to say is I definitely have never made an app before or considered it. I don't know what goes into it. So I don't know if maybe I'm asking a little much for an app, but I figured I would kind of give my wish list of what I would want for an educational app that I would have my name for. It would be something along the name of like old new games for brains, name pending. But I kind of like the idea of that nostalgic feel. I feel like screens are a lot more addicting now because the pixels are so much more animated and everything's so much more real and kind of lifelike. And so I would want to have more of an older pixely style of animation. Not super pixely like the original Mario, but more like the, Super Mario Bros. Type of pixelation. I would want to have certain timers based on certain ages. So, for example, a timer might be 15 minutes on with a 10-minute timer off. I think it would be cool if there was a way to do that for like an entire device, especially for kids. So if it was like an iPad or something like that, if not, at least for the app to be able to take some time to do other things. And maybe it would just play like some music with a pretty like image on the screen for those 10 minutes with the timer counting down. I definitely think an issue that comes with any sort of app or website or even TV show is moderation. And an issue that a lot of kids have is they don't have that moderation, which is completely understandable. As an adult, I don't even always have moderation when it comes to like watching a show. And I know many other adults that are the same way. We'll watch an episode and then next thing we know, it's, 3 o'clock in the morning and we've watched, almost an entire season of whatever show we're watching. So it's definitely easy to do. But I do think it can affect kids in a negative way, just like it affects adults in a negative way as well. So I definitely think a timer would be something that would be needed. I would want to make sure that I partnered with some group, PBS Kids-esque, that would be able to have downloadable videos. That way, like if you go on a road trip or something like that, we have some educational videos. I do like the Go Noodle style of having like our own videos, but if we weren't able to make our own videos for this app, I would want to do something similar to, there's a Scholastic app you can get where it has like the older videos, like the old Cliffords, and on YouTube you can find Between the Lions, Reading Rainbow, stuff like that. I would want to find something that would partner with videos like that, whether it be like PBS or something of that manner, and work with them to also be able to share profits since they have had funding cut recently. That way kids are having, not super high animation videos that they could watch maybe on a car trip or something like that. Inclusivity is one of the most important things for me. I would want good diversion being good diversity being shown throughout the app. I would want there to be kids to be able to look at the app and be like, oh my gosh, I see someone that's like me. From, whether it be the way they look, to the way they sound, to the language they speak, to any disabilities that may come from that. I would obviously want to make sure that it was educational and any games that were played were educational. I got the idea of kind of using like a retro kind of idea from a toy in the toy aisle. They have an old Game Boy, so the ones that look like this, that you can get, and it is, I believe, Leapfrog. And they have like 2 or 3 games you can play on it where you press the buttons and move the stuff, and there's like a Flappy Bird almost type of game where you like move the penguin up and down to the different letters of the alphabet and you follow it throughout the alphabet. So I was thinking, what if we tried to incorporate some of that, whether it be like older Game Boy style games, or it would be like older PC games, and try to style that into what the educational games would be. I would want to definitely have all sorts of educational games because I think that it's important to have a variety, and everybody struggles with different things and succeeds with different things. And sometimes when you're playing a game or teaching your kids something, you want it to be not easy, but easy for them, something they're going to succeed in. And other times you want it to be something that they struggle with so they can learn. So I definitely think that it could be very far out, all those fun ideas together, but I think if I were to make an educational video, that would definitely be something I would be, or an educational app, that would definitely be something that I would want to kind of add in. This assignment has shown me a lot about educational apps. I was very against apps. I was honestly against anything but like PBS and a little bit of Disney for my kids. And very specific, Miss Rachel's and very specific videos like that on kids' YouTube, and it's super locked up so they can't find other things. I was one of those kids that grew up kind of with unrestricted internet access, so we try to make sure that we're very careful with what we have our kids watch. And so this kind of showed me that like apps aren't bad, it's more of moderation and parental guidance that are more required. So I definitely think having an app that you can also put on the TV helps a lot because, for people that don't, give their kids an iPad or a phone. But having the opportunity to have educational apps on iPads and phones and things of that manner for kids that do, or parents that want them to be on, their phone when they're busy doing something or like out and about. These are great options, and I definitely would suggest Go Noodle for one of them. And I definitely will be looking into different educational apps that we can use to better strengthen our family and anyone else that we may help along the way.